Only in LA, the cases that stayed with me. Number one, the LA chef who cooked his wife. Now, I have covered hundreds of cases, especially when I was a correspondent in Los Angeles working for CBS and KCAL 9. This one still sits with me. A chef, a missing wife, and a terrifying secret in the kitchen. In 2012, I stood outside the courthouse of downtown LA recounting a story that is one of the most haunting I have ever covered. Here's a clip.
Now, the defense went on to say that Viens told his daughter that it was an accident. He took a sleeping aid that night and then woke up the next morning and found his wife's body. Now, the defense is going to wrap up their closing arguments tomorrow morning. Also in the courtroom, the family of Dawn Viens, and they were silently sobbing throughout most of the day, especially when those confession audio tapes were played. More on this story tomorrow as well. For now, we're live in downtown Los Angeles. Melissa McCarty, CBS 2 News.
Back then, I had blondish hair. I was trying to figure something out with my hair color, but I still remember sitting in the courtroom during the trial, and he just kept leering at me. He was in a wheelchair at the time because he had jumped off a cliff trying to kill himself when this all went down and police were in pursuit of him, and he survived. During the trial, wheelchair bound, staring at me from time to time, it was just chilling. Let's talk about who the victim was here, his wife, Dawn Viens. Dawn was 39, a hostess at her husband's restaurant in a Lomita Cafe. Friends say she was trying to get sober and rebuild her life, but then she just vanished in 2009. Her husband said that she just left him because he demanded she get treatment for her substance abuse. This is when all the lies started early on. David first told a staff member that she had gone on a drug binge, told others she ran off with an old boyfriend, but yet her car was still in the driveway and she had left behind a stash of money she left with a friend just in case she wanted to leave him from this tumultuous relationship. And the text messages from her phone, they were weird, even misspelling her own nickname. That's when suspicions started to grow. Friends noticed his bandaged hand, his odd behavior. They confronted him because there was still no sign of Dawn. And this was the breaking point. By 2011, detectives, they ended up searching the house and they found blood in the home. All of us got wind of it in the press. The investigation was launched full-blown in the public. And that is when we literally saw the fall of David Viens. When police spotted him in his car, he already had a new girlfriend at the time. He raced off the cliffs of Rancho Palos Verdes and he just dove off 80 feet down and he lived. From the hospital bed, that is when he confessed in a drug-induced state. When I read the court documents and what he told police and what was played in the courtroom, it floored me, absolutely stunned me beyond comprehension that another human being could do this to someone else, especially his wife. This was the hospital confession. He poured the liquefied remains down the grease trap. Her bones, he threw them in the trash, putting her skull in his mother's attic. They searched, but they never found it. Now, he was convicted 15 years to life in prison in 2012. Now, fast forward to 2023, the parole hearing bombshell. More than a decade later, he finally told the full story at a parole hearing. He was trying to get out. So he told the truth, saying, I tied her up with packing tape to keep her from hitting me. Then he took an Ambien, and when he woke up, she was just dead, and so he panicked. He wrapped her in plastic, stuffed her in an old steamer trunk, and drove her into the restaurant. And that's when he says he had remembered something that he watched recently on television. So he started boiling the body at his restaurant. He said he was just panicked, alone, ashamed, and he was hopped up on weed, vodka, and guilt. And he just kept lying to everyone. Also, he was dating a new woman who had replaced his wife at the restaurant. Now, the board, thankfully, they didn't buy any of this, any of the remorse. They denied his release, saying that his actions were callous and just simply grotesque. I sat in court as all of this unfolded, and you think I had heard it all doing this for a long time until I heard someone calmly explaining how they boiled their wife. And I just will never forget him turning around and staring at me. He just was devoid of any humanity in his eyes, and he just kept looking at me throughout the trial. These are stories in LA, only in LA, that I'll never forget. Hit subscribe for more.